Hello, everyone. How are we? Hopefully, all of you are on a fantastic Wednesday, wherever you are around the world. And welcome back to yet another match preview show for you guys this evening. It is Liverpool in the Europa League quarter-final against Atalanta. It is the first leg in what is now the busy end of the season. Look, we've got games coming up thick and fast. Obviously, we've got Palace on the weekend, but again, obviously, we do have to take it one game at a time. And look, this Atalanta team isn't an easy game. Again, probably the easiest one out of the tough lot, but still, it's no easy feat against this Atalanta team. And I think, again, like we've spoken through, many videos, the quality in the Europa League this season is just different by miles. I think this season compared to other seasons as well. But again, let me know all of you are in the comment section down below. Let me know all of you are. Of course, we'll have news as well concerning these three as well, which again, obviously returning back to the squad with Diogo Jota, Alisson Becker, and of course Trent Alexander-Arnold. And yeah, we're just going to just talk briefly about, of course, the Atalanta game as well. But again, let me know all of you are in the comment section down below as well. We'll take a quick look at the latest forms as well. But big up to Chris saying hopefully get job done in the first leg. Use that Anfield advantage. I expect a couple of changes, Gravenberch and Elliott to come in, for example. Yeah, of course, there's definitely a room there to potentially do something in terms of rotation. I wouldn't be surprised, like as you said there, Chris, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Harvey Elliott start. Curtis Jones is another one I think we'll defo see tomorrow. And of course, we may have a few returning lads coming back into the team as well. But big up to Ozan as well. Big up to Connor as well. Big up Ozan. Hope you're doing well, mate. But yeah, let's just dive straight into it then. It would be good if I, it wouldn't be a stream with it, chat, unless I wasn't all gathered in the preparation of this stream. There we go. But as you can see, there is the latest form between the two teams. Of course, for us, obviously beating Sparta Prague 6-1, unfortunately losing to United. 2 wins then in the league, and obviously the draw against Manchester United. But look at Atalanta's latest results, of course, drawing to Juventus, obviously getting that result against Ruben Amorim's Sporting as well to advance into the next round. When you do think about it, we could have potentially faced Ruben Amorim's Sporting side in the next round. Got that big victory away to Napoli, and then since then hasn't been plain sailing, obviously losing to Fiorentina and Calgary. Again, I butchered that probably as well. But again, at the minute, stats in 6, I believe, in the Serie A as well, on 55 points. Not 50 points, sorry. They're 5 points behind Roma as things currently stand. As well, I think they've got a game in hand in the Serie A as well. But again, like I said, it's not an easy team to play against. Obviously, we play, recently we've played Atalanta. Of course, I believe they're a different team now compared to the team that we did play back in 2020, sorry. But again, we have experience of beating Atalanta away. Of course, we didn't beat them at Anfield when they come in the Champions League. I think we lost the game 2-0 in that factor as well. But also looking at Atalanta's best possible team, you look at the players that they do have, obviously the more recognizable ones. Of course, they've got Kolasinac, they've got Zabracosta's another one there that obviously people might remember. Obviously the big one will be Koop Miners, obviously playing the number 10. I'm just looking at his statistics for this season in the Serie A: 11 goals, 3 assists for him, which again is what Liverpool were looking at very much in the summer. Of course, it was a name that was getting constantly linked. But yeah, it's very much one of these signings where, again, this summer he could move for a big to a big club. I think Juventus are looking at him at the moment as well. Obviously, obviously another guy that Liverpool will know very well, of course, Lookman, former of Leicester City. Again, we remember him, don't we, back in the 21-22 season. But also as well, I think for tomorrow, and looking at the way they play like a 3-4-1-2, which again, going on the break, Liverpool might get a bit of fun going against that back three. If if we take our chances, but knowing Liverpool, we won't. But still, it's going to be an entertaining game. Look, you got a really tough Italian team. They will do everything they can to take it to that second leg and then go from there. Obviously, with us, we want to get the job done at Anfield. We should get a good result tomorrow if, again, we play our best. But the way it's going at the minute against United, we don't know what Liverpool team, is going to turn up in that sense as well. But Chris saying that game at Anfield was no fans from what I remember. Yeah, it was in 2020. Both games, obviously, Diogo Jota got an away Champions League hat-trick, which again is mad to even think about. And again, football wasn't real. Back in 2020, it was a horrible time, wasn't it? But obviously now we get to go and obviously have the supporters. Obviously tomorrow there won't be no flags at Anfield, I believe, because of the protest against ticket pricing as well, which I know people have had their thoughts on that as well. I think Jurgen did speak about it a bit earlier on and said as long as people make noise and so on, he doesn't really care, which is fair enough. But of course, he did say he understood why people are doing it. And I think, again, as long as the crowd is there tomorrow, I think that's all that matters in that sense as well. But overall, you'd hope that, again, we would learn as well from what happened on Sunday, and obviously don't, of course, don't take advantage of our chances against Atalanta anyway. But as Chris said, but Atalanta clearly no mugs, knocking out Amorim Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, 100%. That's the thing. And when people go, oh, like, because don't get me wrong, watching those Champions League games yesterday was unreal. It was. That Madrid and City game was unbelievable. Watching that, and I wish Liverpool was in that. I really do. I wish Liverpool was back in the Champions League, which of course we should be now this season, unless something bad really happens. But more or less, Liverpool want to be back there more often, and this season's Europa League, I think, has been a real reflection of, again, Liverpool are a Champions League club. And looking at the Europa League, and again, there's no disrespect on the Europa League, because again, like I say, the quality levels in the Europa League this season have been brilliant. I think when you look at the remaining teams, I'll quickly see if I can get the bracket up. Let me quickly get the Europa League. It would be good when the chat if I got it up sooner as well. But yeah, like in terms of just overall, the quality levels in the Europa League, for me anyway, has been way better than what we've seen in previous years. Like, if I can quickly get the table up, there we go. So again, when we do look at the overall bracket in the Europa League, again, tomorrow, Benfica, Marseille, that's going to be a very, very exciting game to watch. On the other side as well, if I can quickly scroll that down, there we go. You can see, but there, Milan, Roma, that should be a very tasty game as well. Leverkusen against West Ham, again, another, you're top of the Bundesliga against the current Conference League winners as well. And then obviously us against Atalanta, which when you do look at, our score per there, it's pretty much, hefty, isn't it? And of course, I was at that Sparta Prague game. It was very, very enjoyable indeed. But the competition level in the Europa League has massively gone up. And again, it goes back to a little bit of, I was having a conversation earlier with someone about, of course, the tickets for the Europa League final. For example, of course, Liverpool have been given 12,000 when, of course, when Liverpool are said and done with those tickets, of course, it's going to be probably 9,000 tickets, probably even 10,000 if people are lucky. In that sense, again, I think that's ridiculous for a European final. Of course, it isn't the European final in terms of the Champions League, but I think that UEFA now have to realize that teams of like a Liverpool, a team of Manchester United, for example, over the years, even West Ham, like looking at West Ham, like I think that UEFA have to be putting teams in the lower competition in terms of Europa League and Conference League. They have to be putting them in massive stadiums, like in terms of, again, the games itself. I think, like, you look at the Europa League final, it could potentially be Liverpool against Bayern Leverkusen, for example, or it could even be Liverpool against West Ham. Like, that should be in a massive stadium. And again, I'm not saying the Aviva Stadium isn't huge, but also in that sense, when you take into consideration the Champions League finals at Wembley, like, I still think that it should be something like that. It should be in a top European stadium in that sense as well. And I don't know whether or not if I'm the only one thinking that. And again, it's a bit arrogant for me to say, like, oh, Liverpool are going to get to the final, but you would assume that Liverpool get to the Europa League final. You just would. But I think for any team, and I think even teams going on in the future next season, I think that there needs to be a bigger capacity in terms of the final for the competition. I think West Ham, last season could only send, was it 2,000 West Ham supporters, or 3,000 to that final. Which, of course, if you manage to get a ticket or you manage to somehow get into the stadium, what an amazing feeling and moment that probably was. But I think there needs to be more in that sense anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. But big up to Alan as well. Big up, Al. Hope you're doing well. Go on the pool. All about scoring early and opening the floodgates. Yeah, 100%, Chris. I still expect us to win this competition. Said it at the start of the season. Just think overall we are levels above the rest of the teams in the competition. Yeah. Again, looking at our side of the bracket, I expect us to beat Atalanta, and I expect us to beat Benfica and Marseille. Like, out of the two, like, when I do look at the games and when you do look at the remaining fixtures, like, I think Benfica will beat Marseille. I think Milan will beat Roma. I think Leverkusen will beat West Ham, and I think we beat Atalanta. And then looking at the other games, AC Milan against Leverkusen, if that was going to be the case, that's a very tough game to even think about, But when you do think about it as well, you've got a team there in AC Milan who should be in the Champions League. They were in a Champions League semi-final last season. Like, that's mad to even think about as well. And of course, you do think that it should be, like, you think of Liverpool, you think of AC Milan, you think of even Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen could easily be in the Champions League, and then that's the way it is as well. And I do think that is something that it needs to, you need to look at in that sense as well. But let me quickly get. Did I read this one out? I said this. Yeah, I read that one out. Apologies, Chris. Adventures in as well, saying no. I think the Europa League final should be in a bigger stadium. Tottenham, the Emirates, Cardiff, Dortmund, Rome. But I never expect Liverpool to get any final. We have to earn it. Yeah, 100%. And I would 100% agree. I think the Cardiff, the Principality should be, or the Principality Stadium should definitely be in the consideration. Obviously held a Champions League final as well back in, was it 2017? The final was, I think, was it Juve and Madrid? I think it was. Again, just goes to show. And I think that the thing is, UEFA, I know UEFA, obviously, I think they've got their stadiums planned out in advance, but they need to think about it as well. And I think obviously the fact that both set of supporters have got 12,000 to work off, I think is ridiculous. But somehow they'll manage to get it all filled as well. But the AC Milan will be in the final. Right now, like the Europa League final for me would be Liverpool and Leverkusen. I do think that. I think Leverkusen are still performing unbelievable this season. But I wouldn't be surprised. The thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if West Ham beat Leverkusen either, because I know by Leverkusen they've gone on this amazing run in the Bundesliga. They should have lost against Karabakh in the last round. Coming back, I think they scored 2 goals in the last 4 minutes of extra time. That's mental to even think about. But you look at West Ham, and West Ham are a weird team as well in this Europa League, because if you listen to West Ham supporters, they're not playing great football. They're not doing the best, this, that, and the other. But then when you look at their season, I think they're currently, 7th or 6th in the Premier League, and they're in a quarter-final of the Europa League. Like, I don't get it, like, personally. But of course, they want attractive football, but I think they've asked for that before, and look where it's got them. It's got them relegations in the past as well. But again, it's definitely an interesting topic when it does come to them anyway. But they just have the European 100% adventure as well. But let's get on then to talking about Liverpool team news, and let's get on to speaking about these 3 gentlemen. Let's speak about, of course, Diogo Jota, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and of course Alisson Becker. Of course, Jurgen Klopp has confirmed that they are all back in first team training. Stefan Bajcetic is also in that bracket as well, but he has confirmed that Ali is going to take a bit longer. Of course, he won't be in tomorrow's squad by the looks of things. He's going to have, I think, a few more sessions and then potentially might be back for Palace on Sunday. But Trent and Jota are back. They're both in contention. Klopp hasn't decided yet whether or not they're going to be in the squad, but if they're not in tomorrow's squad, then they're definitely back for Palace. So that's great news, of course. And Stefan Bajcetic, he's going to be back in the under-21s, I think, on tomorrow. I think the under-21s are playing. I was going to say Friday, but I think the under-21s are playing tomorrow. So I think Stefan Bajcetic might be in the under-21 squad as well, which again is fantastic news, because apart from that few minutes away to Lask, we haven't seen him this season, which again it's really great to have Stefan Bajcetic back in a Liverpool team, because again next season we're talking about, if it is to be Amorim as the next Liverpool manager, what he will be able to, bring towards, those certain players. And Stefan Bajcetic is it's a real promising, promising prospect in what he could bring to this Liverpool team, because we've seen a fraction, practically, haven't we, chat, of what he could produce to this Liverpool team. As well, but if I'm saying they will be on the bench, I'm guessing most likely they won't start tomorrow. That's 100%, like, I think, guaranteed when it comes to the starting 11. The both of them won't start tomorrow, between Trent and Jota. But again, it's great having them back and having the thought process that they're back as well. But yeah, both on the bench tomorrow, I would have thought anyway. I'd probably say they'll probably play half an hour tomorrow against Atalanta, but Alisson, Trent and Jota be back in starting 11 next week, in my opinion. I think Palace, I really do think Palace. I think Ali might come back. But again, I don't want them rushed. If it does take till next week, if it takes after Palace game, then I don't want them rushed back. I'd much rather have, the 3 of them fit and available now from now into the rest of the season. Instead of, like, again, I'll bring them back quick and then they get injured in the middle of the comeback. And again, that's something that we don't want as well, especially to Jota and Trent, obviously Ali as well. in that, because we haven't missed Ali so much, but again, having the best goalkeeper in the world back it can't harm it, can you, realistically? But again, just having players coming back is amazing, and now the only people that are out are, I think, in the team is Thiago and Matip. I think are the only two I think left. That I'm just trying to think. Yeah, they're the only two that won't be in the squad for the run-in. So again, I know Klopp goes, "Oh, Thiago could be back towards the end," but no, it's a no-go for Thiago. Thiago's done for the season again. But we don't need to rush them this week. Rather wait till next week. Yeah, 100%. And if it doesn't take that long, then happy days in that sense as well. But of course, let me know your starting 11 predictions in the comments anyway, guys, because we spoke about rotation. For me, I think there will be a bit of rotation. I don't see there being a big amount of rotation. For me, this is my start 11 prediction. We quickly got, there we go. I've got an image, but you can, as I've cropped out Keller's face. But there anyway, let me quickly turn off the banner. But as you can see, but there anyway, I've gone Keller in goal, Conor Bradley right back, Ibu Konate alongside Virgil van Dijk, and Kostas Tsimikas. I think Joe Gomez deserves a rest, and I think Robbo as well might be rested. I think there might be a change though, a half time or maybe a bit after that. I think Tsimikas will play instead of those two. I've gone Endo, Elliott, and Curtis Jones. That's my midfield three for tomorrow in terms of the change. And then I've gone Darwin Núñez, Mo Salah, and Cody Gakpo up top as well. I think Lucho needs a rest. I think Lucho's played a ridiculous amount of football over the last couple of weeks. And for me, that would be my team for Atalanta. I think the midfield is definitely a conversation. I know that you could have Gravenberch in there. I know you could have, obviously you could keep Szoboszlai and Maka in there as well. Obviously, you most likely keep them off the bench if you needed to. But I think Harvey Elliott definitely deserves a run out in the team. There's even a question mark potentially whether or not you possibly play Elliott at right wing and take Mo off and put Mo in, Mo on the bench. But I think Jurgen will most likely go full strength to what he can do. I think, obviously, we spoke about Trent and Jota coming back. They're going to be on the bench, but I think more or less you're going to keep with the same team. Just the one, the odd change, then I would say. Anyway, but Christian, my lineup is the same, but I got Collins in for Van Dijk and Gravenberch in for Endo. Wow, so who would be in the sixth then? Curtis Jones could be for that. Anyway, but let me quickly get the team back up that I did predict. But yeah, obviously Curtis Jones most likely be in the six for you, Chris, and then of course Gravenberch probably on the left. And I would say, but I think either way, I think you could potentially even put Maka in the six for 45 minutes and then put Endo there if you wanted to. I think Endo went off quite early, didn't he, against United? And I think that's most likely the reason why I've gone for him more than anyone or anything. But I just think that Curtis Jones deserves to start because, again, he hasn't obviously just come back from injury. But again, I think just if you haven't got Szoboszlai on the pitch, having Curtis Jones in terms of counter pressing is really, really good to have. Harvey Elliott deserves to start. And then I think the rest just writes itself. I think the only other question as well you could have is maybe Conor Bradley. Obviously played a lot of football. You could put Joe Gomez there, a right back potentially, but then that's another conversation around there, which I wouldn't be too mad about if it is Conor Bradley or if it's Curtis Jones as well. But Chris gone 4-1 to Liverpool. I absolutely love that. Jones, a massive asset in the midfield with what he brings. Yeah, 100%. For me, I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool for tomorrow. I do think Atalanta will get a goal because we always concede. Like I said it the other day on stream. I think the last time we kept a clean sheet at home was back in November, which again, it's not really great when we do look at that as well. But I do think that Liverpool will concede again, unfortunately, and I do think that we do take our anger out on Atalanta, and I've gone 3-1 for us anyway. Of course, we're going to get loads of chances, we know this, but again, it's not going to be an easy game tomorrow. But yeah, I've gone 3-1 for us tomorrow anyway. But no one will want to play us on back of us not winning. Yeah, 100%. Again, I don't think any of us want. Nobody wants to play us, even if we won. In that sense, as well, Chris. But yeah, 100%. I would think. I just hope that that these lot now are pissed off with what happened on Sunday, and to just take that now from now until the end of the season, and we just batter teams left, right, and centre as well. But again, you can't take Atalanta lightly, because look, they've already knocked out. They've already knocked out a team of like Sporting Lisbon as well. And when you do actually look back at that game, I've looked at all the stats, and that Sporting should have realistically won that game. But fair play to Atalanta, they stuck in there and they got the win as well, which again, is massive for them. But Liverpool have to, take the chances tomorrow and get through to the next round of the Europa League, obviously the semis. But again, obviously just one leg, obviously still another leg to go. And hopefully we do. You'd like us to, of course, be able to end the tie in the first leg, but still, as long as Liverpool have a comfortable lead going into the second leg, I'll be happy as well. But early goal is vital, breaking down Atalanta. Yeah, 100%. I would agree with you on that, Chris. Anyway, but we are going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Anyway, a big thank you to all of you guys for tuning in as well. It's very much appreciated as well. It's going to be a short stream tonight anyway. Tomorrow we'll be back with a post-match after the footy. Of course, it is tomorrow at 8 o'clock kickoff as well. Friday, then I don't know what we got Friday. I think Friday might be match preview again, unless anything comes out. Of course, we did upload a short earlier on, if anyone did see, on the channel about Luis Diaz. So go and check that out as well if you'd like. Of course, obviously like it, share it, all that good stuff as well. Of course, look back at our video a couple of days ago as well about Ruben Amorim. Of course, once Ruben Amorim's announced, or looks likely to finally be announced, we'll do a lot more content around him as well. Of course, we've got a few things lined up as well. Of course, we've got the Klopp documentary coming, or series that's going to be coming after the season as well, which I'm looking forward to doing as well. And of course, we've got all little other on the channel as well. So if you're new around here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and all that good stuff as well. But we quickly go back to the comments. I was saying, Con, do you want Arsenal and City to face each other in the Champions League semi-final? I do, but I also think that both of them don't make it. I've said this for a couple of days. I think that I think Madrid. I think Arsenal don't beat Bayern. I'm more confident of Bayern beating Arsenal than I am Arsenal beating Bayern. With City and Madrid, I'm not so sure, because you look at last night, there was like a 20-minute period where Madrid was on top, City score a goal, and then it completely flipped the game on its head. And City looked dominant. Of course, they got the equaliser, and it could be the exact same game in the return leg, and that's the thing. But I think Arsenal needed to win last night against Bayern, and it didn't. And I can't see Bayern. I can't see Arsenal beating Bayern away from home. I can't. Just something about it for me. But again, who knows? We'll have to just wait and see, won't we? But big up to Red Machine as well. Hopefully he's doing well, mate, as well. But yeah, guys, if you're new around here as well, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Very much appreciate it. If any of you guys are watching as well, please hit the share button out. It's very much appreciated. Obviously gets the video and the show out there as well, and all that good stuff. Anyway, but until next time, guys, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ta-ra.